let's let it happen.
Amen to that.
C'est la vie indeed. And it seems like we're going up to the drafts here, Terrence. Perhaps any expectations?
You know, to be honest, I want to talk a little bit more on how the draft compositions comes towards both teams, right? Obviously, I do. But when it comes to BREN, they are one of the teams that are very, very creative to bring something new to the table. And they were one of the teams that actually brought in the Florin as well as the Joy during the MPLPH days, which kind of resulted in them taking a win against Blacklist International during their times. And I would say like not many teams kind of play around it, and I feel like BREN Esports, if they decide to pull this kind of strategy against Bleed Esports, they wouldn't be able to handle this unless Bleed Esports has done their research and homework.
Gani, can you imagine him talking up BREN? It's like, oh yeah, they're very creative, they're going to go for crazy picks, and then they just pick up the most standard draft as you can ever get.
It could happen.
Yeah, you know what? We're going straight into the pick and ban phase where Bleed is instantly going to ban out the Fanny. A lot of Fanny bans today.
Yeah, I feel like Fanny is such an annoying hero, especially after that grand final during
just
MSC.
banning the Fanny.
Exactly. They want to play it safe. They want to play it straightforward. And assassin ban in the hands of Kyle Teasy. It's gonna be looking deadly. But BREN Esports responds with also a very efficient and meta ban here with that Arlen ban accompanied by that Lancelot ban.
You know, when it comes to the playstyles here, Bleed Esports still has very similar traits to how Flash does as well. They do lean onto kind of the Kaja as well as the Cho pick. So I feel like if BREN Esports does not respect this Kaja, obviously Bleed Esports is going to be leaning on towards first picking goes Kaja once again and then play from there. But in terms of power picks here, Joy obviously is going to be respected from side of BREN Esports. Arlot as well means that there is still going to be the Frederick going to be out for grabs. There is still potentially the Novara as well going to be in the pool. So I feel like Bleed Esports might not prioritize the Novara top one, probably in the second pick here. But, you know, anything goes. This is our first time going to be seeing Bleed Esports from a while, if you think about it.
Personally, for me, I've watched JPL play so many times. And every single time I see him in a team, all I can think of is just follow your name. Just pick and lock. As long as he gets a hero that locks someone down, like there was even a moment where he was just like, you know what? I'm just going to pick the Jawhead. Doesn't matter what happens, I'm just picking the Jawhead. He will make it work. Because I kind of don't like when he uses this like enchanter style, you know, like supporting the team. I want to make sure that he can pick someone off, he can lock someone down. That's the kind of player that I've known JPL to be, and I kind of want him to stick to his guns.
Yeah, I think that he should stick with his playstyle here, especially in that first game, right? Going up against BREN, they need to somehow show their power, show their dominance. Now, with that Yves ban, though, it opens up a lot, but it seems like Bleed, they will commit to this mid lane. Valentina, I like it, but I gotta agree with you, Icy Baby. I think they should pick up the Kaja.
It's
so
something
weird calling you baby, by the way.
Icy Baby.
Let's
Let's just call him Icy.
You can call me baby anytime.
No, I just call him Terrence.
Cringe.
Hey, you know, you guys cringe, but
me
it
a
worked.
coffee.
It worked.
Okay.
It worked.
All right.
Okay.
But yeah, but coming to the drafts as well, you know, Kaja is still in the pool, something that BREN Esports can actually lean into. But at the same time, when it comes to their drafts here, do they want to go for the Frederick pickup, very similar to how Archives Esports kind of drafted around as well? Or maybe even just bring in the Yves or maybe Novaria as well, because of the fact that if they go for the Novaria, the ultimate coming in being stolen, yeah, it's great. You've got like slows, you've got a bigger hitbox, but it doesn't bring out the damage that Valentina needed. But at the same time, they deny the Kaja pick away from Bleed.
You know what? Looking at the bans, we got to look at a pattern here because Bleed, they're betting out heroes that can go to the backline. The Kadita, the Lancelot, as well as the Fanny. Now having the Kaja kind of does the same thing, even though the Kaja cannot get an immediate kill, but it still gives that kill pressure. So now I want to see if Bleed, after seeing the Kaja, will they change their draft a little bit? At this point, not going to lie, I'm kind of okay if they pick up the Akai.
Okay.
Yeah.
First phase, a Kai pick. Will we see that happen, right? Because it does make sense. With the Kaja, I think you can deny that kill pressure when you have that Akai. But at the same time, I think they should pick up a solid marksman here. And that, the jungler, not a marksman, but they commit to a roam potentially, and that Bane.
Hey, just pick and lock.
Pick and lock, same.
Wait, that sounds something different. Why did that sound so different to me?
Lock and picks?
No, because JBL, just pick and lock.
Oh, that's
What?
pretty good.
I've been saying it all this time. You didn't catch that?
Yeah, I got it. Now I got it. But yeah, at the same time, Cho is going to be a classic special for him. He is going to be picking off people and locking them down. How's that? No.
You know what, Gani,
No.
just talk.
I love the synergy here. The Malaysians, their dynamic are very crazy. But yeah, going back to the bans here, it seems like BREN, they're going for a pickoff, but it seems like Bleed responds with also the pickoff style. So it's going to be just brawl versus brawl here.
Novaria is very hard to pick off though, because you can go inside of walls, and I've tried to get people inside of walls. It's very, very difficult for you to do. The Yuzong gets banned out. I kind of feel like it's a very solid ban here, especially because if there's no real way for you to dive to the back line, it's going to be pretty good to be picking up the Claude or the Beatrix.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with you on the fact that Novaria cannot exactly pick off here. Like, I agree that Novaria early game isn't that great, but if you set up with a Divine Judgment that reduces
No.
MR
I
and
mean,
actually
it's
goes for
hard
burst,
to
is
pick
great.
off the Novaria.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Sorry.
That's what I mean. When she goes into the walls, you know, the Cho can't pick her off.
True.
That's what I meant.
Well, that's probably why you've got a Bane here, which is kind of interesting. I guess Bleed is gonna be playing a tank, tank
Cho?
Bane from the get-go.
Yeah, building.
And then
tank.
transition towards a DPS later in the game. Maybe going for hybrid build, which is very popular before the playoffs of MSC.
I just love this cough button, man. Like,
Why? You just love censoring yourself, don't you?
yeah, you know what? I'm bringing this home. Beatrix ban, like I said, the Yuzong kind of shows it off. It's like, okay, they're probably going to use a marksman that doesn't have that much mobility, but it could be a bait as well, because once the Beatrix is off the table, going to be a little bit more safer to pick up something else. In fact, they could pick the
Leslie.
marksman last just to see what's on the table, right?
Yeah. I mean, that could be the approach here from BREN, but with the commitment on towards that EXP, right? Terizla ban comes through. So asking a question here towards
4
Sagitnu.
EXP bans, actually.
You're right, 4 EXP bans here. Asking a question here towards Sagitnu, what are you going to play? And that is going to be, I guess, a tough approach here, seeing their composition. They need someone to go into the back lines, and Bleed Esports spot a good carry ban, because potentially Bane will build tank, and that carry can melt Bane. And I feel like Bleed spots that a good ban.
I think this is the reason why they actually banned it as well. It's because they want to enable JPL to do his thing. He wants to be constantly harassing and just threatening to actually cut the backlines and going for those kind of way of the dragons. And the carry kind of denies that on a certain degree. But I feel like BREN Esports' idea is that they're using Bleed Esports' historical track record based on their stats from MPLSG or the previous seasons. And if you pay attention to this, Terizla, Yuzong are comfort heroes coming in from BREN Esports, which kind of leaves an option where it denies all their AoE CC compositions, which is something that Bleed Esports loves doing to do. They go for this kind of pick-off composition with Kaja and Satra, and then when they go for it, if things don't go wrong, they counter-engage with a big AoE CC. And these are heroes that kind of enable the XP laner to do it, which in this case, Bleed Esports has no choice but to pick another hero. And I feel like another AoE CC would be a Minotaur, but forcing the Minotaur on XP is not that great if you think about it.
All right, so now the Melissa is pretty good pick against the Kaja. And it does kind of, I would say, counter whenever the teams want to clump up together. The Melissa will be doing quite a lot of damage, same as the Bane. So far it does seem like a straightforward composition coming in from Bleed. I kind of feel like their mid-game is really dependent on JPL and the Cho. If the Cho cannot get good pick-offs in the early stages of the game, they're just looking to scale.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at completely at the composition right there, putting all their eggs in one basket, which is pickoffs. Apart from that, Melissa, perhaps all the 4 heroes are very good at pickoffs, but during 5v5, somehow questionable. So it's going to be very, very tricky to execute that 5v5, going up against a lot of AoEs here from the side of BREN. Lapu, a very good engager. Again, Leslie, I low-key call it because they need that
You high-key
backline.
called it.
High-key?
Yeah, because you're like, Leslie, and then nothing else, and then, yeah, see, I called it. You called it like yesterday. That was amazing. But now looking at the drafts, I kind of feel like both almost have the same kind of idea. Both roamers are going to get a good pick-off. The big difference is Leslie is going to be single target burst. Melissa is going to be AoE DPS. What do you guys feel about the draft?
I personally like BREN a little bit more because of the fact that they are playing a little bit more poke style composition, similar to how Archive's going to play. Both the Philippine teams has demonstrated that, hey, they like this poke and push effect play style rather than just go all in, whereas from the side of Bleed, it's go all in.
Yeah, I got to side with BREN here. I feel like with their composition, it might be a clean 1-0, but please, Bleed Esports, prove me wrong, because your composition is also quite straightforward to be executed, but then again, it's going to be very hard for you to find 5v5s effectively.
You know what? There you go. Gani wants to be wrong. Speaking of wanting to be wrong, pretty sure Mirko doesn't like being right as well. We're going to throw over to Lyoko.
Thanks so much, LaFell, and our analysts on desk. At your service, my name is Leo, here with Mirko, and we're bringing you Bleed versus BREN in this best of 3. It's time for Game 1. And as mentioned, this is going to be a fast farming Bane starting off with his orange, and it's a counter-mirror approach for BREN here.
It's already a very interesting start to the game. I mean, looking at the drafts again, this is not the normal BREN that we usually see. And this is because of just the bans targeted towards Kyle Teasy in the first phase for Bleed. They really did not want BREN to get the assassins early on to go for it. So now we're already seeing a little bit of an engage early on as well. BREN, they need to stay out of this laning because both lanes, in mid and gold, they're really going to struggle.
Yep, that's the story of the draft so far. BREN Esports want to protect Super Marco, and they can't pick fights, not just quite yet. And it was mentioned on our desk, our panels, that they want to protect Marco here. They want to go ahead and poke out, and I think the keyword is re-engage. Throughout the mid to the late, if they want to get good fights, they have to make sure that Marco's set up. They want to make sure that Ogwin catches the right target and protects that backline. You have JPL, you have Sagitnu looking out for him, and I think that's something that we haven't mentioned much, the fact that these two imports are going to introduce a little bit more of aggression when it comes to Bleed's playstyle. We last saw them in MPLSG.
I think the snowball is definitely what's going to help Bleed take control of the game because they really need to look for that snowball. Maybe not around the XP lane, but definitely around this gold lane. Super Marco, I was really confused. I think we had an off-camera discussion about why the Leslie was picked into a Melissa lane, but it seems like both teams are already setting up for the first turtle.
Yep, no pull quite yet, and it looks like Deck is setting it up. There's a knock-up on to Sagitnu. There's a jump by Flap.
All right, split. Now that's going to be the Flicker. Divine Judgment bringing him back. First blood for Few. Deck trying to go for the retreat battle right now. Shield VJ jumps in with a stolen Brave Spider, but it is still going to be Kyle Teasy as Flap picks up the kill. It is a 3-for-0 trade technically with the turtle in hand.
Yep, BREN Esports are doing amazing work with the, again, re-engage mindset that has been set up, and the big win here is off camera. Super Marco was winning the lane too. Look at FMM right now. He's at half health and there's a big rotation just waiting. Oh! Phew. Idol ng mga kids. I love it. Picking up the Novaria here just throws back to his roots. Homie used to play a mean Selena. Back when Selena wasn't even a roamer, wasn't a mid laner, he was an assassin. And this Astral Meteor, just perfect for Few.
It really is perfect. It feels like the hero was built for these long-range mages, especially the ones who want to go and poke down, who have a lot of game knowledge to utilize the Astral Recall and everything, technically, with JPL now. Jumping with the way the Dragon, going to be able to lock people down. The Divine Judgment by Kill VJ, stealing it away, but Flap Teasy, all the way from the XP lane, jumps forward with a Brave Spider. Kyle Teasy picks up the kill, and it's BREN still winning on the board here in the trade. But I do have a big concern. Again, the Melissa in lane up against the Leslie. The fact that he is losing lane, getting shoved in and getting frozen, this is not going to be good at all. As a Melissa player myself, when I'm up against a Novaria, it's already hell for me as a Melissa with low mobility. If you're losing lane as well, this Melissa, if you don't get those 3 items, Power Spike, it's over.
Yep, and that changes the dynamic. Again, BREN Esports found their window, and they set up for what you would expect the Melissa to do well against the Leslie, especially since Super Marco hasn't really built up yet. His emblem spells out what he wants to do. He wants to be able to build damage items and eventually scale to the mid-game Power Spike. But here, 4 minutes in, BREN Esports are already barreling over about 2K gold lead. And I have a theory, right? Bleed Esports, they've picked up Sagitnu and KLVJ for what? The better part of 2 weeks now? And that's being generous. Thinking that every day of the past 14 days have been productive scrims. It looks like they're of two minds. Sagitnu and KL want to be aggressive. The other 3, they're kind of tempering their expectations here. Turtle take here, clean for BREN Esports. They engage.
Yeah, you say that. The chemistry or the synergy from Bleed Esports is a bit off here in this game. Meanwhile, it's literally the complete polar opposite from BREN. They know exactly what they want to do at every given moment of the game. You can see earlier as well, Kyle not really getting threatened at all in the turtle take, sends Flap Teasy over to the purple buff, forcing a retreat out from Deck, and they're taking control of every single lane despite having losing matchups.
That's right, and even taking that small camp, and this all adds adds up. About a minute ago, we said 2K. Now BREN 2.5K ahead. I can only imagine what is going on with Super Marco. But wait, there's a pull!
Flicker Divine Judgment deck might just fall here. Pops into Deadly Catch, is able to disengage right now. Bleeder trying to push the pace, but it's a bit too late as a 2.5K gold lead is already built up. That's a lockdown from Kaltizi, and Few picks up the kill. KillVJ's waiting in that bush, looking for a little cheeky steal, gets the Lethal Wanderer, but the fact that the Leslie is given this much space in lane is already disastrous for Bleed.
Berserker's Fury and a Legion Sword already on Super Marco. You can see that he is almost 1,000 ahead of his lane mate. So yeah, FMM only has the Corrosion Scythe, and you need to plant yourself for said Corrosion Scythe to make much of a dent in what you're trying to do. And because of that, there was an off-cam turret take clean for BREN Esports. So yeah, I think what's going to happen next, Super Marco's going to rotate out unless they want to continue give FMM hell. And then even mid's going to get compromised here. Look at how low this tier 1 has become.
I think initially the plan was maybe the lane swap, but the fact that the Leslie's already doing so well, we already mentioned this early on. As long as the Leslie survives in lane, gets to that Berserker's Fury, I mean, to be honest, get to that BOD. Once you have that BOD, you're pretty much fine. You can actually win trades against the Melissa pretty comfortably, and that's what he's able to do so far in the 6th minute of the game. Ogwen can see already looking to find Judgment, but JPL cancels it out with the way the Dragon. Now it's going to be FMM jumping forward with the Inspire still holding on to it, but there you go, the Snipes coming down. JPL getting gunned down all the way from the mid lane as BREN Esports push forward, going for the siege, and with this composition, this was why they went for it.
Oh, wow. That's 2 turrets, 2 turtles, 1 kill traded out for, yes, but so far this is as winning as it gets so far here in the challenge season of SPS. Now, Ogwin, there's a threat, there's a jump in by Flap, go away!
Good go away, plays down by FMM, but you can't escape from the range. Flap TZ zones him perfectly. I thought Ogwen, he had the flicker, had the Divine Judgment. I expected him to flicker, but he knows exactly that, you know, it's a Melissa. No mobility. We can completely punish her just by Flap jumping with the Bravest Fighter in the back, forcing a go away, and it's just FMM so behind now against a late game hero in lane.
Bleed are outgunned and outmanned. There is a massive gold lead here, 5,000 affording Super Marco that aforementioned Blade of Despair already in. Currently about 1,600 gold ahead of his lane mate FMM. Not to mention, throughout that whole engage down bottom, Kyle DZ was going for the turtle off camera. So yeah, even with a 4v5 situation, BREN Esports are able to go ahead and push the advantage. And look, did they force a purple steal? I think they did.
Divine Judgment as well. Only onto Ogwen, but he saved this flicker for that. Now the Bravest Fighter from Flap TZ trying to go for the re-engage right now. That's going to be Sagitno with the Slam pass. Snipes from downtown. Few getting a good Astral Meteor. Super Marco just sieges down the tier 2. And as a Melissa, as a lane bully, if you get your DHS later than a Leslie gets her second or first BOD in his build, it's already just almost over.
It's a
once you
losing
get
battle,
outranged
bro.
again, well, on a Melissa, once you get outranged, it's already hell.
Yep.
Right? On top of that, it's a BOD Berserker in the 8th minute of the game.
Yeah, you'll see here again, the gold speaks for itself, right? That's Super Marco just having a time of his life. The past 8.5 minutes have been a breeze, and that's an understatement because even JPL is wondering, like, oh, can I even consider this? And I think that's one thing that Bleed are also short on. It's hard for them to tell where BREN Esports are. They are lacking vision, and not to mention, I've been keeping this for the past 5 minutes now, 6 minutes, the amazing damage coverage that BREN Esports has. A few alone, rocking just 2 items here with the Enchanted Talisman and the COD. That's enough magic damage to force out the Cho to actually build up an Athena shield. He only has a pair of pants to try and stop Flap, Marco, and Kyle TZ. Not to mention, Flap deals true damage on the Leslie. So this allows the map to just be cracked wide open. A free Lord, and now Flap TZ jumps in. No one home. Bleed knows.
Oh,
but wait!
Divine Judgment, Sagitnu caught off guard, and yes, that true damage from Super Marco. 3-0 and 0. It's a killing spree for him, and conveniently enough, I'm also a Leslie player. So honestly, looking at this dynamic, look at the synergy as another Astral Meteor connects from Few from downtown. KillVJ not risking, not wanting to go for the Divine Judgment, and he stole from himself. That's a 4-man reveal from Few, as they're going to be able to shove Bleed back from the tier 2, picking it up for free. But again, back to my point, Leslie, Novaria. Leslie alone. Sometimes you struggle against the opening, the vision control.
Most lanes, yeah.
Exactly. And now you add on too few on the Novaria as well. It's basically an open map from level 4 onwards.
Yeah, and not to mention Ogwin took care of Marco very well in the first 5 minutes, even putting himself on the line. Again, the only death for BREN Esports in this 10-minute bout. And with this 10-minute bout, you're looking at a 10K gold lead, and there's a jump in.
Divine Judgment, Flicker combo, JPL gonna be picked off here, 0, 5, and 1. Not a good stat line for him, but Bleed, they're really looking for desperate play. They have to go for a big one. Flapteezy with the conceal already now with the Bravest Fighter as well. Going for the anti-CCS kill. VJ isn't able to find anyone. That's the stun from Flap, and Few snipes him from downtown. Mid lane, base turret taken down. BREN Esports looking to convert onto more objectives, and Bleed have nothing to say about this. It's just going to be a free 3 base turret siege for BREN.
It is scalpel precision with the strength of a brute force blunt object. BREN Esports just barreled on through, and they have broken the 1,000 gold per minute lead bracket. It's ridiculous. Look, 12K now, and we're not even 12 minutes. So that means every single time BREN Esports makes a step, they're taking 2 steps forward, and that reflects in all of their items. Even Ogwin outclasses even the mid laner from Bleed.
Is it safe to say that Bleed Esports are bleeding right now? Because it really feels like they're taking
not
a
even.
whole lot of damage, no?
Not even. I wouldn't say. That's an understatement. Them bleeding is maybe a 6K, 5K gold lead.
Yeah.
This is brutality, what's happening here. And BREN Esports, they're not even sweating. I think so far, there have been very few moments in this 11, 12-minute game wherein BREN Esports had to go, all right, let's back off. They've always gone for what they needed to get, and every concealed play resulted in something. That concealed play resulted in all of the inhibitors going down. So Bleed Esports, I guess they're only looking for one thing, really, a pickoff on the Marco. But no, with this concealed play!
JPL is done for. That's a Divine Judgment to lock him down. And BREN Esports, they have just basically gone a pick right as the Lord spawns in. So, no, they're not. They don't want to just end it with a brutality. They want to convert it into a fatality with the Lord and with maybe, perhaps, a 13,000 gold lead by the time this game ends. It's another free Lord. And again, Bleed, they can't do anything. They pop the conceal. There's always going to be an Astral Recall. There's always going to be a lot of vision. And even without the Novaria, the Leslie, you still have Ogwen just sitting on these bushes around enemy jungle.
That's right.
And Flap, not even Kyle. The tanky members are too tanky for anyone to burst down.
Best case scenario, and again, this is the easiest of the circumstances that Bleed can get, right? You pick off Ogwen, maybe 2 or 3 times in a row. You catch him off guard. Sure, if you're lucky, you get one on Few, shut him down, maybe even take down Super Marco. But that's, again, you mentioned the 3 bodyguards between Flap, Ogwin, and Kyle Teasy. It's just not going to happen. And now, with this Luminous Lord marching in, 3 men revealed with the Astral Echo. Lord's going to crash in, and there's a jump!
Flicker, Divine Judgment once again from Ogwin, picking it off deck. Now it's going to be Sagitno, Flickers forward now, but Super Marco keeping the position. Meanwhile, the Lord might just go for the end right now. Flapteezy jumps in with the Bravest Fighter, still able to sustain, but he finally falls as FMM finds some damage, but Super Marco is hungry for the damage, goes in for the kills in the end, and it's BREN Esports with a 1-0 lead in match 2.
I know that we've only really had one series, but currently this is the fastest game in the challenge season
13-25.
of the SPS. Yes, and 2 to 15 here. There was one more kill towards the end on Flapteezy, but I don't think Flap is sad in any ways. He's in the top 3 of the damage leaders and top 3 in the gold leaders.